Hello, this is Mrs. Patterson's homework help. This is for math. We're in chapter 1 and lesson 6. This is the last lesson for this chapter. Okay, let's look at our sheet today. This is page 47 and this is page 48. Now, the last lesson in most the chapters are called problem solving. And with problem solving, that's just exactly what it is. They want you to look at problems and work on solving them. And in the first box here, the first orange box that they have, they usually give a problem and they work through each step to solve that problem. You can't just look at it and understand it right away. Even I have to look at these questions, think about it, talk about it, write pictures, and to help myself understand. And here they've used a tool of a a place value chart to help them understand a problem. These are things that you need to do and be willing to do so that you can make a difference in your understanding. Okay? So I'm going to go through this first problem here, but I'm going to challenge you to do the rest of the worksheet and think about what's going on. As far as, do you understand it? Are you getting it? And kind of helping you along that way. All right. So let's go over this. A 6-digit number has a 2 in the thousands place, a 5 in the tens place, a 3 in the hundred thousands place, and a zeros in each of the remaining places. What is the number? Use the 4-step plan to solve this problem. This is very confusing. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, you've got all this information. It's written like a paragraph, like you're reading a story, but yet it's math. So we have to break it down. We have to pull it apart and get a better understanding of what's going on. So first of all, understand. This is important. What do you or don't you understand? So I know that there is a number with 6 digits. It has a 2 in the thousands place, a 5 in the tens place, a 3 in the hundred thousands place, zeros in each of the remaining places. I need to find the number. So now I will use a place value chart to help me organize the digits. So this person has thought this is the best way, and it will be the way I would solve it as well. Now yours doesn't have to be fancy with all these colors. You can strictly make your own chart on a piece of paper. There's 3 digits for each period. This is the ones. This is the thousands. And then you have the ones, tens, hundreds. Ones, tens, hundreds. Now I'm being messy here, but you've got the idea. Your chart doesn't have to be fancy, okay? So when you're organizing this information, you say, hey, it has a 2 in the thousands place. A 2 in the thousands place. It has a 5 in the tens place. 5 in the tens place, okay? It has a 3 in the hundred thousands place. Not the hundreds, but the hundred thousands place. One number 3. And zeros in each of the remaining places. So what's remaining? What's left? I have the ones, the hundreds, and the tens. Those all get zeros. Am I right? 302050. 302050. Okay? So I can check my work by reading the clues again to make sure that the digits are in the correct place. And that's always a super duper good idea to double check, and especially if it's something terribly simple. 2 in the thousands place, 2 in the thousands place, and go through and check that you've got everything in the correct place, and then you know that the remaining places are 0. Now, for this homework, you need to remember it is time to think and reflect back on what we've learned for this chapter. What do you understand? Do you understand this yet? Do you understand the different periods? If not, then you can go back and look at the other videos or even look at your notes from class. We even made a place value chart at the beginning of this chapter that you can use that we put in our spiral notebooks. That's also an awesome tool to go back and look at and reflect on. So that's all a part of studying to make sure you understand what's going on. Now, first of all, let me go over now the bonus question. And this one is not, I don't need a mathematical answer, I need a sentence or a few words to explain this. So, when trying to figure out a place value problem, what tool should you use? Again, when trying to figure out a place value problem, what tool are you going to use? Now, before I sign off for this lesson, I want to do a reminder, since we are wrapping up Chapter 1, it's a very important thing. As part of your homework, when we get to that, is we do an end of chapter review in class, we grade it, and then we give ourselves a score and we look at where we are as far as understanding. That is your homework tool to come home and study. Study doesn't mean I don't have to do homework because I have studying. Studying means you have to look at things, figure out what you don't understand. Say, what if you forget what place is over here on the place value chart? What if you don't remember that it's the millions place? Well, that's something that you need to study and say, I got to remember that this is the millions place. I got to remember that this is the millions place. So you have to find ways to help yourself study. You can take notes. You can have family members quiz you. You can take the test again, erase your answers, and see how well you do the second time on a test. All of that is studying, and all of it you will find valuable. If you don't take time to reflect and study, you're not going to get the best grade that you can possibly can, because surprisingly enough, it helps you to remember. And that's why we have homework, because it's not enough for me to just tell you in class. You need to go home and think about it again. That's a way that your mind can start learning the information, is when you haven't thought about it for a little bit, then you go back and think about it again. Your mind will better remember.